Chris, good morning. We've seen volatility in Queensland before, but never quite on this scale.
Barry, 2 years and 10 months ago, I needed your help to find adjectives to describe the flabbergasting result of 2012. 78 seats out of 89 that the LNP won. That was a world record, and we really didn't know how to get our heads around it. We thought the LNP would be in for 2-3 terms based on the strength of that enormous majority, but the volatility is just increasing year by year. We've swung wildly back now, and Annastacia Palaszczuk saying there we're beginning a new chapter. Normally, Barry, that requires the previous chapter to at least have a few pages in it. This government had barely time to do anything. It did rush around and do a lot in that 2 years and 10 months. But this volatile result, this enormous swing backwards and forwards, I think it has big ramifications, not just for politics, but for the administration of the state. Imagine the public service, imagine the projects that were planned. How does anybody ever sit down and try to get some consistency with running the state if politicians are going to be thrown backwards and forwards by the electorate with such abandon?
And because it's happened so dramatically and so suddenly, it's a real challenge for Annastacia Palaszczuk, given that I don't know how many of the new members are newbies and how many are recycled, but she's going to need all the experience she can get.
I think there'll be some deep part of the Labor Party waking up this morning going, uh-oh, we won. I don't think they really were prepared in their hearts for it. It was always seen at least as a two-term proposition. You mentioned some of the people making a comeback. That will help Annastacia Palaszczuk. She only had a 9-member team towards the end of the last term. She is going to reduce the ministry from 19 to 14, but still that means she needs to find another 5, even if she gives all her previous members a Guernsey in the cabinet. But people like Kate Jones, obviously, a former minister who unseated Campbell Newman, Cameron Dick, the former Attorney General, has come back. Sterling Hinchliffe, another former minister. Annastacia Palaszczuk is going to need all of those. She's also going to need to do some fast talking today with some of those crossbenchers if she can't quite make it to majority. If she makes it to majority, well and good. But some of those crossbenchers might be getting some interesting conversations today. And I say interesting because both of the major parties during the campaign, Barry, made a virtue of saying they'll do no deal. So let's see how that pans out today.
And Chris, what do you expect to happen over the next weeks and months ahead within the LNP?
It's not going to be pretty. How on earth did they drop this glittering prize? How did they let that great trophy slip from their hands so quickly? There are lots and lots of reasons. We could talk all day about the reasons, about Campbell Newman's leadership style, about the divisions between the parliamentary wing and the party wing of the LNP, about some of the previous old divisions between the Libs and the Nats, about whether this government tried to do too much. What they were planning to do yesterday, Barry, they knew Mr Newman was going to lose. So what they were planning for, the LNP, was to get back in with a smaller majority and then try and do a smooth transition to a new premier within the LNP. They didn't really have a plan for what they're going to do today. So people like Tim Nicholls, the Treasurer, Jeff Seeney, the Deputy Premier, who were part of the team that got Campbell Newman in, they're going to be having some very angry phone calls today with the party wing and with some of their colleagues about where the LNP goes from here.